So, many times people ask me about how hypnosis can actually work, particularly in the situation we find ourselves in today. Now, I say today because even although at this moment in time in September in 2022, we're going through a lot of aftershocks from the earthquake-like disasters that have befallen the world in the past few years. We are now in energy crisis and there are other things going on. However, it's not just about that, because when you see this, you may be far further on in time than where we are right now while I'm recording. And that's okay, because it's still today for you. It's still now for you. And this is something that happened in the past, perhaps. It can also be something you're still going through right now. This is how hypnosis can work. You see, it's a state of mind. It's understanding where your thinking is, in what time frame you're holding yourself. For some of us, there are a lot of stuff that happens that actually we're holding on to, and we've kind of stuck a stake in the past and we've tied our ankles to it, and we can only get so far. Some of us have a bungee rope, some of us don't. And many times, the last thing that we think of is whether or not we're wanting to be hypnotized. So I was thinking that perhaps I should do a little webinar all about hypnosis and you. So here we go. If I can get this right, that will be great. Now, here we are. For some, this is the idea of hypnosis, and it's a little bit scary, more than just a little bit scary, because there's some kind of magic and mystery that goes on, and we don't really know how it works, but this person is getting into our deepest, darkest places and might actually get us to connect with our inner chicken. Actually, if you want to go to a stage hypnotist, you will probably do something like that, almost learning perhaps to make things happen, like eating an onion. So this is it though. Hypnosis is very ancient. It's very old indeed. It comes from the Latin somnus. So think of somnambulism. You may have heard that. That's the big name for sleepwalking. The Greco-Roman god of sleep. Obviously, he didn't sleep too deeply, because if he's somnambulistic, he's walking around all over the place. But that just goes to show that actually these words are more descriptive than we realise. Hypnos was the son of Nyx, night, and the twin brother of Thanatos, death. Now, I used to remember this because when I was a vet nurse, we had to learn anaesthesia, and anaesthesia talks about the stage of anaesthesia where you are teetering on the brink of death, which is why there's no such thing as a little anaesthetic. We are more than the sum of our parts. We have these massive resources inside our heads called brains, but it's not just inside our heads. Our conscious and unconscious mind, which I will continue to call the universal mind if you don't mind, because I don't think it's unconscious at all. I think that's a misnomer. This universal mind, as you can see, goes farther. It's what allows us to feel where we're going and what we're doing. It allows us to test the temperature of a room when we walk into it. You know how you walk into a room sometimes and you just know there's been an argument or someone's been talking and it might have included something about you. And suddenly there's this kind of energy of hush and quiet, or just this heavy energy that you could cut through with a knife. This is you sensing energy in the room. This is your universal mind giving you an idea of the kind of situation that you might want to look at as far as flight, fright, or fight is concerned. And sometimes the other one too, freeze. So hypnotherapy is a type of mind-body intervention which hypnosis is used to create a state of focused attention and increased suggestibility in the treatment of medical or psychological disorder or concerns, says Wikipedia. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. We have the most amazing ability to change our minds, to change our state of minds, and to change our mindset. The thing is, we get habitually into a cycle of one way of thinking, one way of reacting, and not responding. That's where things get interesting. So when someone believes they can't be hypnotized, they're absolutely right, because that belief is theirs. It's their truth. However, if you can read a good book and get lost in the story, if you can scroll through your social media and suddenly realize that an hour has gone past and you didn't see it going, or you can watch a good film and be totally in there with the characters, you can be a good hypnotic subject because you are trancing every time you do something like that. But just think about it. We're in a trance all the time. We're just in different levels. It's like an oscillation of state of being until you get to the point where you go to sleep. Sometimes sleep can be hard, and we can help with that too. So what can we do with it? Well, we've got our little emoticons here, and I'm not entirely sure that the third one, who's very happy and kind of duh looking, is more confused than happy about what's going on. But this can be the beginning of the state of learning, of changing, and of understanding how powerful you really are. When we're sad, angry, upset, we can make really interesting decisions and choices. When we're depressed, we're holding on to a state of being that takes a lot of energy out of us, so it makes us tired. When we're open, a little bit confused perhaps, and wanting to understand things, but totally ready to take on the idea that things can change, and be curious and say, what if I get it right this time? What if this thing can change my life for the better? What if I'm actually more than I think I am? So a long time ago, this guy, Franz Anton Mesmer, he was a physician with an interest in astronomy. In those days, everybody was into astronomy, astrology, things that went bump in the night. There was a whole load of stuff going on that was, starting to really look at where we came from, how we got here, and what was beyond us. So he started thinking about this natural energy transference. And you know what that's like, because some of us have actually really got in touch with that. The animal magnetism. The late, great Sean Connery was known to have it very much. And it seems that when he was seen to be walking, because Cubby Broccoli didn't really want him, but Cubby Bob Broccoli's wife saw Sean Connery move and said, oh, he walks like a panther. He's the one. So the story goes. I like that story. But it's true. Some people we look at and we go, oh, there's an energy there. Actually, we've all got energy, and it changes from moment to moment sometimes. So just think about it. But this is it. We are all made of energy, as well as the physical stuff. This guy, John S. Dale, oh my goodness. Look at the date on there, 1808 to 1859. This is how old, how long hypnosis has been in the mix. This is how long it's been working for, and in amazing ways. He was a student of Mesmer, so mesmerism, and he continued his studies while he went to become a medic for the East India Company in Bengal in India. He was appointed the civil assistant surgeon in Calcutta in 1830. And he became famous for his pain-free surgeries, which included amputations, the removal of massive tumours, and cataracts. Now, this was only done on the native population because the Dutch East India Company's people were not really interested to not have anaesthetics and not really interested to be his case studies. However, the fact that he did this, and he did this for all the workers, the native workers, was an amazing thing at that time. All his cases were documented and investigated with a positive outcome. The mortality rate, and this is where it's really important to look at, the mortality rate decreased from 50% to 5% in his native patients due to a significant reduction in post-operative shock. Shock is a state of traumatic being. It's when the body, the mind, the actual soul has been insulted physically, mentally, emotionally. And it can have a lot of dire consequences, particularly when it comes to dealing with people who are getting bad news, who have been in accidents, who are getting themselves anxious and upset. So this is it. What do we stop and what do we start? As I say, it's not a case of that we make you forget. We don't make you forget. We take the emotion away from it to a certain extent. Well, maybe I'm being a little conservative with the truth there. We do make you forget a little bit. We don't dismiss the trauma. We don't dismiss the feeling. We don't dismiss the anxiety. But we allow you to stop focusing. We press the stop button on the pattern of behavior that's making you do things, that's making you feel like you don't have a choice. You've got to keep doing the same thing, even although you know it might not be good for you. And we allow you to press the start button on a new pattern of behavior, a new way of being. And we can do that on a scale. It doesn't have to be stop, stop. It can be a gentle, relaxing way of just becoming. This new idea starts to just worm its way in. Understand that, and it's not quite a shock. Now, sometimes people will go for one session of hypnotherapy and sometimes they'll go for more. I tend to work on 3. Most of the work is done on the first one. The second and the third, that's more for just soaking things in and allowing people to understand and adjust and tweak the changes that they're experiencing as they go. It's all about you. It's all about how you believe you're doing. It's all about how you, and actually the ecology of those that are around you, are reacting and responding to the changes that are being made. So what's stopping you from starting to change behaviors, patterns, habits that you are not actually happy with? Now, here is the father of modern hypnosis, Mr. Erickson. And it's true, when you get a lot of people who say, can't be done, don't believe it, my mate went and he didn't get hypnotized. Well, only 20% of the population will go to sleep when you tell them to go to sleep. Let's face it, not everybody is going to do what you tell them right away. And these are called somnambulistics. They are absolutely willing to just go to sleep. However, to hypnotize the other 80%, he told stories. And that's where you understand the correlation between when you're reading a great story, or you're involved in a film, or you're listening to someone. It could even be a comedian, it can be an uptime trance. Totally focused, totally involved, because you're anticipating, you're sitting forward, your eyes are open, your ears are open, and your jaw is slightly maybe relaxed. And you're totally attentive, waiting for the next word to drop into your ears so that you can really understand what's going on. And we all love stories because we tell them all the time. And the interesting thing about stories is, when we're telling them, we're also listening to what we're telling, which is how we reinforce the patterns of behavior that we possibly are not being served by anymore. So what does it deal with? Stress, depression, phobias, trauma, all of these are dealt with hypnotherapy. Many more things besides. Hypnotherapy can help you with weight. It can help you with your idea of confidence in yourself. It can help you to understand whose story you're actually telling and living, and how to get out from underneath that, and give you resources and understand and think about the word resource. You already knew that you had this. You just forgot to remember because life got in the way. People who you admired and thought were an authority over you told you that you couldn't do things. Actually, more opinion than fact most of the time. You can believe in yourself. There's nothing stopping you except perhaps you. And listening to that little voice. And that's another thing that hypnosis can help you with. That inner opponent that is also known as imposter syndrome. Oh, I can't really do that. When you find yourself deprecating going on, when someone says, that was great. Oh, well, it's nothing. It's just something that I learned to do. And it's nothing really. Actually, what they're telling you is, you just did something that they thought was impossible because that's their model of the world. You did something and taught them something different. Now, I'm thinking that perhaps there's something around in your life that you can do that someone else has sometimes said to you, I don't know how you do that. That's absolutely amazing. Maybe you're a great cook, and it could only be one thing, but you could be really good at it. Maybe you can draw. Maybe you can tell stories. I don't know. I'm not with you at the moment listening to what you're saying, but I'm hoping that you're listening to me, because I'm telling you that once you start to believe in yourself, there are so many things that can happen. And sometimes what we need is a guide, a facilitator. And that's what a hypnotherapist really is. We're here to help you resource yourself. So getting from the depression and the anxiety and the fear, that is not so far to getting into being able to enjoy your life, to understand how to make decisions, how to set your mind in a way that you stop actually running about like that headless chicken and allow yourself breathing space, take time for yourself. Understand that there may only be 24 hours in the day, but time is a construct. And we need to be able to sleep. We can help with that. We need to be able to be clearer and brighter in the morning and be able to make clear, concise decisions. That's a mindset also. And we can help you with that. It could be that you just want to learn to meditate, and that's a kind of, oh, isn't that a bit woo-woo? Isn't that a bit out there? Isn't that a bit hippy-dippy? Well, it's a bit quantum physics to a certain extent. And neurologically, it's something that we do. We just don't remember how to do it because we don't do it on purpose enough. So learning to do it on purpose can be a great thing, and it doesn't have to take all day. We're going to be doing, well, I'm going to be doing, I'm hoping that it's going to be a wee that people will come and join me. 5 days next week. And if you are watching this on a replay and in the future, it's still going to be on the pages. As long as the pages are there, this 5-day challenge will be on there too. We're going to do 5 days of meditation, meditative moments. I'm not going to have you sitting cross-legged on the floor saying, unless you want to. Unless you already do that, and that's working for you. We're going to look at how we can stop the rattle and the roar and the ricochet of thought that goes on in our heads, and breathe and how we can feel where we are inside our bodies. So join me next week. See the page, Stress Less Glasgow. And be brave, be bold, be you now. Sometimes we don't know who we are until we actually stop, take a look in the mirror and really, really say, okay, who are you? What do you want out of me? How do we need to be? How can I become more successful? How can I become more aware? How can I become more sedate and calm and make good decisions? So check out the pages on Facebook and Instagram. Resource, recover, revive, reboot your mind, get your state going on. And remember, we're always here. And you are always more than you think you are. So email me if you'd like to know more information, or if you'd like to make an appointment. We can discuss things. Or ask for a 20-minute free consultation in the diary. We can have a face-to-face on Zoom. You don't have to leave your house. We can do it this way. I look forward to talking to you. And if you've got any more questions about hypnosis, have a look. There are some frequently asked questions on the page on Stress Less Glasgow. But you can always ask anything. All you have to do is write or call. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that it's given you something to think about, giving you an idea that, you can do this. You can get through things. And you can change your perception of how life will go on in a good way. Be well, be blessed, be loved. Bye-bye.